Yes, children, types of molecular orbital. Here, the molecular orbital of diatomic molecule, say for example hydrogen molecule or lithium molecule or helium molecule, they will be designated as sigma bond and pi bond. We know sigma bond is when you look into the sigma's molecular orbital, it is symmetrical. But when you look into the pi molecular orbital, it is not said to be symmetrical. Now, see, I told you, I am going to take the example of diatomic molecule. So here 1s orbital on two atoms form two molecular orbital. So that will be represented as psi 1x and psi star 1s. Correct? No? I am telling you 1s orbital of two atoms combined. Okay. So I am getting two molecular orbital. One is psi 1x and one is psi dash 1x. So this is bonding molecular orbital and this is anti-bonding molecular orbital. In the same way, I am going to pair 2s and 2p atomic orbital. In 2p, how many orbitals are present? Px, py, pz. In s, you have 2. So 2 plus 3. Okay, how many children? See, 8 atomic orbitals on 2 atoms. Okay, this is 3 plus 3, 6. Here 7 and 8. So 2s and 2s, 2. And in case of p orbital, you have 3 plus 3, 6. So 6 plus 2 is 8. Now when I am going to combine this S and P, then I will be having 8 molecular orbitals. One is bonding and another one is anti-bonding. Look into bonding, see S is forming psi, and when you look into PZ and PY and PX, they all are forming sigma bonds. So S orbital, that is either 1s orbital or 2s orbital, you are getting sigma bonds. With Px, Py and Pz, you are getting pi bonds. Okay. Now, when you look into the energy level of these molecular orbitals, you can determine them experimentally by means of spectroscopic method. Just look for diatomic molecules which are present in the second row of elements in the periodic table. There is an increase in the order of energy of various molecular orbitals of oxygen and fluorine. This is nothing but your molecular orbital of oxygen and fluorine molecule. It is keep on increasing in the second order of the periodic table. Second row elements of the periodic table. Now children, look into this diagram. This is for fluorine molecule. This is nothing but your 2 P's. 2 Px, Py, Pz, how they combine and what is the result. Okay. But when you look into the sequence of energy level of the molecular orbital, it is not correct for the remaining molecules. So for fluorine and oxygen, it is showing correct. But for remaining molecules, when I look into the order, it is not correct. For example, it has been observed experimentally by means of spectroscopic studies that for molecules like boron, carbon and nitrogen, that is boron molecule, carbon molecule and nitrogen molecule, the increasing order of energy of various molecular orbitals is going like this. It's not following the same aspect as that of fluorine and oxygen. The trend is different for boron, carbon and a nitrogen molecule. So this is the picture for bonding and anti-bonding. So don't try to complicate the diagram with bonding and anti-bonding. So bonding, you know, sum up, and anti-bonding, you know, it is nothing but a difference. It is nothing but your subtraction. Now, this is nothing but your electronic configuration and molecular behavior. The distribution of electron among the molecular orbital is called as electronic configuration of the molecule. How electrons are distributed in different subshells. That's what we have seen the definition in case of third chapter. Since we are dealing in depth in the fourth chapter considering your atomic orbital and molecular orbital, the definition is refined, that is distribution of electrons among molecular orbital is called as electronic configuration. From the electronic configuration, what is the use? Why I have to write the electronic configuration? When you know the electronic configuration, then you will be getting lot of important information. What is that information? You know the stability of a molecule. Say for example NB is the number of electrons which is going to occupy bonding orbital. NB is for bonding orbital. And what is Na? It is nothing but number occupying the anti-bonding orbitals. Now, always I have told you bonding is stable because energy is less. Anti-bonding is unstable because energy is more, repulsion is more than attraction. Now, a molecule is stable when bonding is greater than anti-bonding. A molecule is unstable if bonding is less than anti-bonding. Correct. Now, when you look into the first format, bonding orbitals are occupied, so the bonding influence is stronger, and that is why the molecule is stable. When you look into the second case, antibonding influence is stronger, so the nucleus is unstable. When antibonding part is going to be stable, then what happens? Obviously the energy is more. If energy is more, stability is also less. So the last definition will be bond order. What is bond order? The number of bonds present between atoms of a molecule. Say for example C triple bond C, the bond order is equal to 3. C double bond C, the bond order is equal to 2. Now it is defined as 1/2 the difference between number of electrons present in bonding and antibonding orbitals. So between bonding and antibonding orbitals, 1/2 of the distance is called as bond order. So what is bond order? 1/2 of bonding minus antibonding. So when you know the electronic configuration, you know whether the molecule is stable or not, then you know the bond order, then you know the nature of bond. Okay. Say for example, when you have the bond order values as 1, 2, 3, 1 is going to correspond one bond, that is single bond, 2 is corresponding to double bond, 3 is corresponding to triple bond. So as how we have studied before. So now bond length, as we have already seen, what is the bond length? Bond order between two atoms in a molecule is taken as approximate measure of the bond length. When bond length decreases, bond order increases. Okay. In the beginning of the chapter, we read the definition of bond order and bond length, but in terms of between two atoms, bonded atoms in a molecule. But as we discussed about various aspects, here the definition is slightly different. What is bond length? Bond length is defined as the bond order between two atoms in a molecule, that is taken as the approximate measure of bond length. And what is magnetic nature? See, you will be able to predict the magnetic nature of compounds. You know, I am discussing all these aspects under the electronic configuration. After knowing the electronic configuration, you know the stability, you know the bond order, you know the nature of bond, then you will be knowing the magnetic nature of a compound. See, if all the molecular orbitals in a molecule is doubly occupied, if it is 2, 2, then the substance is diamagnetic. So it will be repelled by the magnetic field. Now, if all the molecular orbitals are singly occupied, they are very single, they are called as paramagnetic. In that case, they will be attracted by the magnetic molecule. Example will be oxygen. So, what is diamagnetic? All the molecular orbitals will be doubly occupied. They will be repelled by the magnetic field. And what is paramagnetic? Here, all the molecular orbitals will be single occupied such that they will be attracted by the magnetic field. Okay. So we need to see the bonding in case of some homonuclear molecules, that is where two atoms are same, that will be seen.